everyone. My name is Olabamiji Oluwaseyi, and you're welcome to another episode on Daily Insight Podcast. If you have been blessed by any of our podcasts, kindly share with friends, share with your family, reshare on your status, like our YouTube channel, then also the Telegram channel. The Telegram channel is for the audio file, while the YouTube channel is for the video file, and I pray that God bless you as you do so. So this morning we are continuing the podcast that I dropped yesterday. I received a lot of comments and feedback concerning the podcast, and I know that people really anticipate the part 2 because I said in that podcast that I'm going to release the part 2. Actually, the reason why you've not been seeing part 2 of many podcasts that I drop is that there is a lot I am trying to compile. I want every of the teachings to be structured and to be methodical so that we can find a point of applicability to it. So that is the motive. But right now, that if I can't finish any podcast, we have the patience to drop the part 2 so that that topic or that conversation or that discussion can have its maximum impact in our life. So what are we considering? So we are considering still on the series building reading capacity or cultivating reading capacity. And like I said in part 1, that reading is very important. Reading is everybody's responsibility. Nobody is coming to read for you. And I put it on my status yesterday that what's one of the things that make God the monarch of the universe, the controller of all things, is that he has a way of relating with everybody at their level of mental exposure. He has a way of relating with you regardless of your mentality. If you have a constructive mentality, God is going to work with that mentality. If you have a destructive mentality, you will be surprised that God is still going to work with that mentality to a level. And what I mean by the only thing that we create a barrier is that when God sees that it's going to affect a lot of people, so He will allow you to plateau so that you can only reach few people. When God gives people something, it is more conscious about the people, the beneficiaries of that gift, of that blessing, than the person himself. So God cannot give you influence over 1 million people, 10,000 people, when your mentality have not been tested, when the genuineness of your personality has not been tested. Are you seeing what I'm saying now? But if you have a destructive mentality or you have insufficient knowledge, there are few people you're able to reach. Regardless of how you use the internet, God will restrict that abundance to the level of your capacity. I have said it again and again that God is a God of abundance, but He has structured His abundance, He has structured it to distill to the level of our capacity, or especially our mental capacity. God will never give you something that is beyond your mental capacity, because the Father is relating with you at that level, is hoping and knowing, putting the responsibility upon you to grow. So as you grow, then the abundance expand. As we go, the abundance expands. See, we are the one that have the problem, not God. Many things that God wants to do through you is distilled to your mental capacity. Once your mental capacity cannot relate with the abundance that is flowing from God, it's going to be a waste. And one thing you must learn about God is that God is not a waster. So this is one of the reasons why we read books. So please listen to the part 1. So the part 2 is why one of the reasons we read book is for mental expansion, is to broaden our horizon. And if you want to do this, your goal is consistency. I get what I'm saying now. See, you don't be caught up in the oppression of the recall, of practicing recall. What I mean by that is, many of us, we just want to remember everything we read. We are under the pressure. No, don't be under that pressure. See, many of those pressure that we put ourselves under is because there is a narrative. Maybe you want to prove a point. So that they will not say, I'm not reading. If they say, okay, what have you read in this book? That is the narrative that forms our secondary schools, our basic level. What do you read? And you are trying to, that is why we have a lot of people cramming than understanding. Cramming is not the same thing as understanding. When you cram an idea or a topic or a sentence or anything, it is still on the surface level. It cannot produce anything. Knowledge at that level doesn't have the power to produce. I said it yesterday that knowledge is the only thing that have the power to produce. That is why it is one of the factor of production. Something that have the power to produce is what we call factor of production. Ignorance cannot produce. The only thing ignorance does is furnishes consequences. But now, knowledge at the level of climbing, true climbing, cannot produce. It cannot affect you. So the knowledge that will affect you is the knowledge that is coming from the streams of understanding. I get what I'm saying. And you cannot get understanding until you free yourself from the oppression of recall. I just want to remember, you are not supposed to be under the oppression of trying to remember everything you said. I get what I'm saying now. The key has already been given. And the key is that the Bible said, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. It is more of a unconscious disposition, unconscious outflow than the conscious outflow. Do you know that you cannot flow well? Let's assume you have a speech to give, you have a presentation to give, and you were just reading about the presentation. You have a presentation tomorrow and you are reading the presentation today. I hope you know that your chances of being messed up is 80%, because what you are going to be under so much pressure. So your mentality will be, your mind will be so tensed. You have put yourself under the temperature that cannot allow the information to settle down in your spirit. I get what I'm saying now. But if you have a presentation tomorrow, let's say tomorrow, and you have been reading maybe like 3 months ago, 6 months ago, by the time it is time for the presentation, you are going to flow because you now have what is called the abundance. I get what I'm saying now. You now have what is called that. So you are speaking from the abundance. If you want to speak out of the scarcity of your mind, you are going to mess up. And that is what a lot of people want to do. They just want to read up something, and after that, they want to come out excellently. It doesn't work that way, sir. So that is one of the key to perform maximally. Your job is not to practice recall. Your job is to stay reading. Your job is consistency. Your job is thoughtfulness. Like I said yesterday, your job is to sit down and meditate. Okay, why does this person say this thing? Okay, what does it mean? Okay, how does this person link this idea? How does it link them up? How does the idea connect? How does it connect to me? How can I use this idea to solve my first personal problem? How can I use this idea to solve the family problem, the societal problem, then the territorial problem, then to national problem? Okay, who are the people that are in need of the solution I'm reading now? You see, you are meditating. So by the time you give yourself that mental work, that mental exercise, what you are doing is that you are sucking out of that wisdom well. You are sucking in some gems. You are sucking in some virtues. So by the time you accumulate so much of that, you will discover that every time you find yourself in a place that places a demand on your solution or that places a demand on your contribution, you will see yourself that you will be able to flow very well. I got what I'm saying now. So that is how it works. Then how can we now find the point of application in what we read? Is still the same thing I said, that you sit down with it, you study it, you learn it, you meditate. The Bible said, this book of the law shall not depart out of thy mind, but indeed you shall meditate day and night and observe to do all that is written therein. It is by so doing that you will prosperous and make and have good success. Do you know that was the first time God spoke about success in the scripture? And when I tell people around me that the first time God make reference to the word success in scripture, it does not associate it with prayer. In fact, it is based on just 3 laws. The book of the law. What is the book of the law? The book that is principle compiled. The book of the law is a book that is principle compiled. The book of principles, knowledge filled books. Then he said, what? Meditate. Then it is in the thoughtfulness, in the meditation of what the content of that book, that will become the abundance of the heart. That is when you will now observe to do. You see, before doing, there's another thing called observation. If you are not careful, you are not going to produce results as much as you could. If you are not paying attention to this thing, before you could add on anything, observe first. Observation is you are finding the contextual way to apply the principle you are reading. Like I said yesterday, that principles are universal, but the application of principle are what? Contextual, geographical, and personal. So somebody can be applying the same principle in a different universe or in a different ecosystem, and another person is applying the same principle in another ecosystem, in another universe, and they are having the same result. What they are able to successfully do is that they have a way to contextualize that principle. I get what I'm saying now. So if you don't observe where culture, system, and structure play out in what you are reading, you may not be able to do exactly what the scripture or any material you are reading. You will not be able to do what exactly that material is saying. That is what this Bible is talking about. So before doing is observation, observing how best to apply what you are reading. And it is by so doing that you make your way prosperous and have good success. The reason why you are going to have good success is that there are 3 capitals that runs the woman economy. The first is what I call reputation capital. It's either you have it or you leverage on people that have it. Number two is what I call money. This has to do with opportunity, grant, loan, gifts. It can come inheritance. It can come anyway. And number three is what I call knowledge capital. If you lack the first, don't lack the second. If you lack the second, don't lack the third, because one of these three can substitute for another. Let me explain what I mean. If you don't have name, if you don't have a name and you don't have anybody that can give you the leverage of a reputation, you can have money. With money and good character, you can have a name. I know what I'm saying now. So if you don't have a name and you don't have money, if you have knowledge, when I mean knowledge, is a practical insight that can solve the current problem of the new economy. If you can solve problem of the new economy, what I mean by problem, knowledge that can solve problem of the new economy, is that every civilization has a way of tackling a problem. I know what I'm saying now. There are skills that are irrelevant in the 21st century world. There was a time they were relevant, but in the 24th, because of the level of change and transformation we have stepped into, those skills, they are outdated. I get what I'm saying now. So your relevance and your impact is known when you are able to solve the current economical problem, the current new world problem. If you can do that, that one will give you money, and with money and good character, you can have a name. So now, if you lack the reputation capital, you lack money capital, and you still lack knowledge capital, you really lack, and you are totally a disadvantage. You get what I'm saying now? So now let's go back to the knowledge capital. How you have the knowledge capital is the attention, the measure of attention you are able to invest in building personal value. I get what I'm saying now? Because the goal of this knowledge you are talking, the goal of reading, is for the transformation of your life. Many of us, especially if you grow under a system or an area that does not appreciate value, or that does not place priority on personal development, you have much work to do than the person that grew up in a civilized place, in a civilized territory, in a civilized area, because a lot are against you, because you are going to be doing a lot of unlearning before you can now learn. There are some people that they don't need so much on learning. What they just need is they just need to start adding blocks to what they have already learned, maybe from their father, from the school they went to, from the privilege of the connections with their parents. Are you get what I'm saying now? So know where you are and know how to start building your personal value. Now, the third reason why you need to read books is that books enriches your personality. Books enriches your personality. Let me tell you something. You see, fight ignorance than you fight the devil, because everything wears the personality of the mind behind it. Everything still boils down to your personality. If something is wrong upstairs, I tell you, I kid you not, everything will be wrong, because you are the hidden mechanism that is powering everything you are seeing. It is your mind that is producing everything you are seeing around your life. If you are dirty, it is your mind. That no demon has the capacity to make anybody dirty. It is your mind. It is your mind. They give you a project to handle in the place of work, and you handle it in an incompetent way. Now, you have two choices. It's either to go back and build yourself and apologize and build yourself and tell yourself that you are not going to repeat that mistake again, or you give yourself another excuse. And by giving yourself an excuse, you are reducing your chance of becoming the best version of yourself. I get what I'm saying now. So reading increases your personality. It enriches your personalities. When you have a quality personality, when I talk about that, I mean the quality of your mind, how you handle things. Have you seen some people handle things in a dexterous way? It just throws you off balance. You are inspired. You can be that kind of person too. Nobody comes with any skill from heaven. We all skills, competence, dexterity, everything, expertise, everything was learned here on earth. And everything is open for you for learning too. I get what I'm saying this morning? So I'm calling you to start reading now. It enriches your personality. See, don't build a personality you will regret of at the end of your life, because there are things that will be coming out of your life that you will look at yourself and you feel sorry. That is why people are drowned in self-pity, because they find themselves doing things that are inferior to others, maybe of that of their friends or their colleagues, and it is not your fault. It's just that you have not paid attention to knowledge that can refine your personality. Knowledge refines personality. When you know more, you can now do more. When you know better, you will do better. When you know to a point, your mentality will be different, your perspective will be different, your judgment will be different, your conclusion before you even conclude on this is what is right, like I can go for this. It has passed through a lot of filters. It has passed through a lot of processes before you can. The Bible says, refine your mind, let your mind be transformed so that you can prove what is good. You cannot discern what is good if you don't have a strong mental structure. I get what I'm saying now. So that is how this economy runs. Reading is a powerful key. And let me tell you something. that the greatest advantage of the elite is the wide knowledge gap between them and the masses. Let me now tell you something that if you don't know, we have a lot, the elites, they make profit off the masses' ignorance. The knowledge of a citizen is a threat to their superiors. I get what I'm saying now. So we have a robust, a strong, formidable industry that is profiting from your ignorance. So they know where to put that media propaganda, and they know where everybody will be rushing. They know the sites to open for free things, and they know everybody will be rushing because they know that the masses doesn't think twice. They don't have the mental capacity to think twice. They don't have the mental construct to think twice. I got what I'm saying now. People hardly think twice because they have been taught to think in a mediocre way. I get what I'm saying now. So the greatest advantage of the elite is the ignorance of the masses. And for you to get out of that zone, you have to read, sir. You will read. You will read in the morning, read in the night, read in the evening. Just be consistent with reading. As you are consistent in reading, your subconscious mind is absorbing those information. And by the time they are going to produce it for you, they are going to produce excellence. Thank you so much for joining today's podcast. I hope you have been blessed. Thank you and see you next time. Bye.